Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here in the audience and on the live stream. My name is Sarah. I head up business development for indie games on Google Play.
Hi, I'm Kobe. I'm a product manager for Google Play.
Hi, I'm Milena, engineering manager on Google Play. We're here to talk to you about some cool tools we're launching in Google Play Developer Console to help you better release your apps and games. We want to make sure you can launch with confidence and better target your apps and games to the right devices in a way that makes great experiences for all your users. We'll start with a quick recap of everything that changed in this area in the past year, followed by talking about some big improvements we've made to the release management flows in Google Play Console in the past year. We will then go on to announce some new features, changes to app signing, new device catalog, and device targeting tools. We have heard that some of these areas are the ones where you would like to see feedback and insight from Google most, so we're very excited to show you what we've built.
So before we get to the new features, let's start with a quick recap of what happened in this space in the last year. So exactly a year ago, at Google I/O, we launched Open Beta, a new way for users to discover your apps running beta on Google Play and join them. Users can find your apps, search them, join the beta directly from the store listing page, and leave you with private review, which you can see in the Play console. Open Beta is a great way for you to test your new updates before you launch them live to your users. So this Open Beta allows you to really scale beta programs on Play. And in the last year alone, we've seen more than 100 million beta testers on Google Play. There's another number which we're really excited about, which is a 4x growth in the number of apps running a large beta program on Play. We get great feedback from developers like WhatsApp, telling us how Open Beta allows them to get critical feedback from millions of beta testers. It allows them to experiment with app and new features, and it's one of the key ways they're able to deliver such an awesome messaging experience to so many users globally. And we get this feedback from Tim Sen, VP of Engineering at Snap. By the way, Snap was one of the early adopters of beta testing on Google Play. They use it for more than 4 years now. Mr. Sen tells us how Open Beta allows them to deliver such a stable app experience and is key to their ability to innovate with new app experiences.
So together with those changes, we've also launched a developer program called Early Access. Has anyone here given Early Access a try? Yeah, a couple hands. Cool. If you haven't, highly recommend you to check it out. So this is a program that will allow you to put your apps or games in front of early adopters while your game is still in development. So the audience of early testers, they're going to be able to provide you with really valuable feedback. We've captured and continue to grow a significant user base of highly engaged users that are more than willing to give you that detailed, granular feedback around how your game or how your app is performing. So currently, we have 25 million users and counting that are actually leveraging that early access program since last year, 2016. So one great example here is Omnidrone. This is developer of Titan Brawl, and they're from Spain. And they entered into early access. And they saw more than 400,000 users enter into the game. They started by focusing on engagement. That was the first thing they decided to iterate on. They then went on to iterate on retention, and finally, monetization. So with early access, they were able to improve their engagement rate by 50%. I mean, that's a really meaty number. And then later, monetization went up by 20%. This was even before they actually launched publicly. So we're really elated to be able to see these Android-only tools and services move the needle in a really meaningful way towards the success of their game's launch. And Omnidrone has told us that within early access, they were able to get enough traffic into their game to really analyze and improve their retention, as well as take on their marketing assets and test that in store experiments even before going live. They also told us that that private feedback was invaluable. You see, one of the great features about early access is that users cannot rate your game or app at that time. So all that great feedback you're getting from them does not actually impact your store ratings. It's helped them to improve their game experience based on that user feedback, which is always a really great practice to follow.
The launch of early access is just one of ways in which Android and Play are continually evolving. In order to keep pace with this, and in order to give you guys the tools to use all the functionality we built to its full potential, we have recently overhauled the entire release management section in the Google Play console. App releases replace the previous APK page and introduce some pretty significant changes in the way how you prepare your next release and roll it out to users. Firstly, we introduced the concept of a release and a consistent terminology throughout the flow, including things like rollout or artifact. Is anyone in the audience using multi-APK?
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, quite a few. So concept of release is generally useful, but especially so for you guys. It gives you kind of a holistic way to look at all the APKs that are active at the time in a holistic way, and also to see which one of them were added now and which one were carried over from previous releases. One more important change is the ability to separate release preparation process from its rollout. Previously, you had to do this weird dance where you upload some new APKs, you deactivate the old ones, and then you have to publish the whole lot at once. Now you can create a draft release and save it in various stages of completion. You can then go for lunch, come back, make some other changes in the console, and only roll it out when you're really ready and sure. One of the primary goals of the new flow was to enable you to release with confidence. We got plenty of feedback from developers like yourselves that they're being scared to publish because they're not sure what are going to be the consequences to their existing and new users. We also got some feedback that some of our error messages are not very clear. So these were critical as we were designing new flows. We made sure that everything is much more explicit in the new flows. We now provide confirmation options at various points in the flow, which reduces the risk of accidentally doing a bad or unintended push for your users. For example, we now have a new page which allows you to review the release before you roll it out. This page will highlight any issues and warn or even block you depending on the issue severity. As part of this process, we actually changed some of the previously very strict rules around how we decide to warn or block you. This especially applies to things like upgrades and targeting across the Android device space. At the same time, we added some new rules to give you more visibility into various other things that could go wrong with your release. For example, we now warn you if you're introducing a new permission, which will reduce your app's update rate, or when you are excluding some devices which you were previously targeting.
Another change we made with the new flow is making stage rollout front and center. Now, we love stage rollout. We think it's a great way for you to confidently release your updates to users. You start with a new seed. If it performs correctly, you update until you hit 100%. In the new flow, we made the UI front and center. It's very easy to set stage rollout. We also show you how many devices you will target with each % of the rollout. And one feature that we already got some positive developer feedback on is the new ability to set custom percentages, like the 3% you see right here. Since launching the new flow, we've seen a number we're really excited about. We've seen 50% increase in the number of developers that are using stage rollout. We love seeing this. You know, stage rollout is a really recommended best practice, and many of our top developers use it practically to release each one of their app updates. There's some other really cool features that we launched as part of the new flow. For example, you can see a log of your release. So when you push to 5%, 10%, or 100%, you can see a history of all your historical releases. And one feature we think is really cool is your ability to download historical APKs from the Play console. So if you're trying to reproduce a bug from one of your previous releases, you go to the Play console and you download that APK. Moving forward, we're getting ready for the world beyond the APK. Starting today, and you probably heard the announcement earlier in the developer keynote, we are opening publishing of Android Instant Apps from the Play console using a very similar flow to the flow you're all familiar with updating your regular installed apps. So it should be very easy for you guys to come to the Play console and publish your Android Instant Apps starting today. If you want to hear more about that, come to the session Intro to Android Instant Apps tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. right here on stage 2. Now, there are 2 features that are coming soon, and we think you'll be pretty excited about. If you're using our publishing APIs to programmatically push your app updates, soon we'll expose a new endpoint for releases, allowing you to push the change to the Play console, but then go to the Play console UI, look at the validation pages that Milena mentioned before to understand the state of your release, and only then make the publishing action from the Play console. And then also, with the best tradition of Google, launching and iterating, once we launched the new flow, we heard your feedback loud and clear how we should further improve the process around release notes, or as we call them, what's new. We know that today it's a bit of a time sink for you guys, especially if you manage release notes across multiple languages. Therefore, I'm happy to let you know that very soon, like you see here, we will offer you a new format, allowing you to edit all your release notes offline, and then with a single copy and paste action, move them to the Play console with a single click of a button. We think it will be a big time saver for you guys and a feature you'd really like.
So we've had a few developers now using the new flow and sharing their experience with us. For example, Freeletics here, developer of health and fitness apps, tells us that the new Managed Releases page gives them a greatly improved status overview of their releases. And Deliver is pretty pleased with the ease of use and convenient overview that they now get with staged rollouts. Now they can see exactly how many installs that they're expected to get to that stage rollout while providing them with a whole new and exciting level of control. OK, so now you guys can actually roll out your app and game to users with higher confidence, but you still want to understand how your release is actually performing. Well, this is why we're launching another great feature right here, the Release Dashboard. Here you'll be able to track your release health. So, for example, you can see what your crash rate is doing, what's the ratings changes look like, or how is your uninstall rates fluctuating. This is based on hourly aggregated data, so it gives you a really powerful way to keep track of your release as it's getting adopted. You can compare the release performance to a previous release, which we think you guys are going to really love. I mean, what do you think? Does that sound cool? Awesome. OK. So hopefully you already know that if you're running a staged rollout, you can actually halt it at any time if you're detecting any kind of issues. So for instance, if you're noticing your crash rate is going up or there's a big spike in uninstall rates, you can react quickly. If you halt a staged rollout and the users that didn't get that update, they won't get it. So rest assured. Then you can focus on investigating and fixing those bugs before releasing the new build. So if you guys want a deeper dive into that awesome release dashboard I was just referencing, along with some other cool features that we're launching to help you improve your app health, go check out Making Data on Play work for you tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. over at Stage 1.
OK, let's move on. As Android developers, your signing key ensures security and integrity of your app. That makes it very important. Lost or compromised keys are a very serious issue. I hope that this didn't happen to any of you, but in fact, this is one of the most commonly reported issues to our operations team. This is why we're very excited to be announcing another important feature, Google Play App Signing. If you join this program, you let Google Play manage your key and sign your app before delivering it to users. For new apps, we can simply generate a key for you. For existing apps, we provide you a flow through which you can securely hand over the keys to us. After that, you don't have to worry about balancing security and convenience of access by, for example, storing your key in a version control system. You can even delete it. Apps uploaded to Play will still be signed, but with a separate upload key, which we use as a secondary authentication. This one can always be replaced if needed.
OK, so first of all, this guy right here is super excited about it. I just want to point that out. Thanks for the thumbs up. We've had several partners actually using Google Play app signing for a while now, and they love it. Surprise. Here, Robinhood speaks to the layer of safety that we've added, while at the same time, it's just eliminated that worry of having lost or stolen keys. And I guess I don't have to ask, I mean, how cool is this? Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. OK, so now that Google Play is signing your app, you can probably guess what comes next. We can also start optimizing it on your behalf. The first optimization that we've started with a few partners is resource stripping optimizations. If you opt into this, you can give us a universal or so-called fat APK, based on which we will automatically generate device-specific APKs by stripping redundant resources for native libraries and screen densities. For example, when delivering your app to an ARM phone, we will make sure we strip out all the x86 native libraries. This way, the APK we send down to users is smaller, taking less bandwidth, less space on their disk, without requiring you guys to use multi-APK. This way, we're seeing over 20% APK size savings with some of the partners, so make sure you opt in and try this out when it becomes available. We are very excited about Google Play app signing and all the app optimizations we can bring you on top of it in the future. This program is optional, but we really hope you decide to join. To learn more about app signing with Google, its security benefits, and the size gains you can get with the various optimizations, please come to the How to Secure and Optimize Your App with Google Play app signing talk tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. on stage 1.
OK, now I want to tell you a story, a real story. When I joined Google a few years ago, my friend who is an Android developer asked me for just one thing. Can we do anything about this page you see right here? You're probably all familiar with this page. So I asked him, why? What's wrong with this page? And he's like, well, there are thousands of devices there. There's very little info on each device. Many devices actually have the same name again and again. And managing devices in general is busy work. Now, the Android ecosystem has grown so significantly because it offers different devices with different capabilities at various price points. At the same time, it's important that users don't get an app or a game that their device doesn't have the hardware to support. You know what happens? The user gets annoyed because the app doesn't work on their device, and then you get annoyed because the user leaves a 1-star review blaming your app for something that isn't really your fault. It's really important for us that you're able to deliver great experience to your users. And to be able to do that, we need to provide you visibility into the device space. It's especially important for game developers because we're aware that you guys, in many cases, build your games according to a reference device spec. Therefore, we're very excited to announce that today we're launching a new device catalog in the Play console. Woohoo! With this new and shiny catalog, you can see the full hardware spec for thousands of devices that were certified by Google for the Google mobile suite of apps. You see here what we call the card view, but we also provide you with the list view, allowing you to run all kind of quick operations on a set of devices. Take a moment to compare the old UI versus the new UI. Pretty awesome, right? OK, so what do you get in this new catalog? So first, you get a full device spec. You get information like RAM, system on chip, GPU, CPU, screen size and density, and the supported Android OS versions for each one of those thousands of devices. You can search devices by any of these attributes. For example, you can run the search that you see right here, what we call the filter. You can search for all devices, for example, with Android SDK 24+ and a specific GPU. And one of the features I like best, every time you search for devices and we show you one or many devices, we also show you your app performance on those devices. So we show you how many installs, how much revenue, and what's the average rating that those devices contribute to your app. This is super important when you're making decisions like prioritizing bug fixes or making device exclusion decisions. When we gave the new catalog to Pixelberry Studios, one of our testing partners, it helped them avoid making a big mistake on day one, literally on day one. So they were about to exclude a device, but actually, with the new catalog, they suddenly saw that it has meaningful installs, 4.6 rating, and actually some meaningful revenue, too. So they avoided excluding it, and therefore avoiding making a major mistake. Pixelberry Studio tells us that this tool will be a game changer for the studio.
Cool. Another really cool feature of device catalog are device groups. It is quite common to have multiple devices with the same brand name, but different system-on-a-chip configurations. For example, different Samsung Galaxy S7s. We've heard multiple times from developers that it's very hard to figure out what's happening in those cases, and especially to debug performance issues. So in our new catalog, we group all those devices for you while allowing you to drill down and see each individual device SKU separately. If you want to exclude a device, you can either exclude a specific SKU or an entire set of devices for a single group. Now, one big addition we're introducing are device exclusion rules. This is the ability to exclude devices based on performance indicators. For example, if you're developing a rich graphics game, you may struggle to get it to perform well on devices with less than 512 meg or 1 gig of RAM, in which case you may want to exclude the entire group of devices with less RAM than that. Or if you discover a specific bug, you may decide to exclude all devices with a specific system-on-a-chip configuration. This allows you to stop deployment only to problematic devices while you work on a fix and deploy the fix to all the affected users as soon as it gets ready. When you create an exclusion rule, we also, similar to what Kobe was earlier saying, we show you which devices you're about to exclude, how much installs you're making from all those devices, and how much revenue you're making, which is a pretty important information where you're making a big decision like this. And then to save you some more time, we also let you copy the list of excluded devices from another one of your apps, just kind of to make it a little bit quicker.
We already heard from a bunch of developers that they really love this feature.
Oh, yeah? Cool. So we know you want to exclude as few devices as possible. After all, Android is so great because it has a vast reach, and because users everywhere around the world are using a great and diverse device set. However, we do acknowledge that sometimes you need to exclude devices temporarily or even permanently, and we want to make sure you have the right feature set, allowing you to make such important decisions, including validations, to make sure you don't shoot yourself in the foot by over-excluding. You can see, for example, that EA are using new tools to launch more confidently and ensure players get better experiences across all of their supported devices. Similarly, Space Ape Games shared feedback with us, where they found a great way of incorporating new device targeting tools to reduce costs and improve KPIs.
So I'd like to build a little bit off of what Milena was just speaking to there around device exclusion. So Big Fish, one of our testing partners for the device catalog, has been really terrific in sharing a ton of feedback and insight into the tool as they've been using it. We collated their experience into a case study that we're going to share with you today. But first, I wanted to take a little bit of a step back and let you know that we had some reservations as a platform, as Google Play, that we were a little bit concerned that developers might support less devices as a result of this. But Big Fish illustrates that this is in fact going to facilitate the opposite. It's going to allow you to support more devices. So as we went down that rabbit hole with them, with their first days of interacting with the catalog, two recurring themes popped up: precision and quality. Let's start with precision. So Big Fish's mantra is actually to publish games to the widest audience possible and using restrictions as a last resort. But my favorite quote from them is right here, which is, "We can now take a scalpel into the operating room instead of a hatchet."
It sounds safer to me.
It's like, what a visual. As I'm sure many of you can relate, developers have been going to the far reaches of the internet, scattered across, to leverage several third-party sources of information around Android devices and their specs for years. The Big Fish team really loves the consolidated Android device models and grouping, where they can also see, as Kobe was speaking about, that install, revenue, and ratings numbers for each device. This allows you to make more informed decisions. So one specific example that they gave us was that in the past they had this running list of low-end device exclusions, probably sounds familiar, for a particular business unit. They were forced to search and check against this running list for every new title. And given that Big Fish is an extremely prolific game maker, this was a huge pain in the butt. So they can now set that one-time RAM-based device exclusion rule and that it import that into every new game they launch moving forward. That means no running internal lists, no manual labor. So this newly found precision is leading to some serious efficiencies for them. And we're excited to provide you with a lot of oil to grease those wheels for your team.
We actually asked Big Fish how they anticipated the new catalog would help them to include more devices. So they gave us a real example. In one very tricky device group, they had to use the hatchet approach that Sarah mentioned before and exclude 12% of the devices in that group. With the new catalog, they estimate they can take down this 12% to 2%, which means including many more devices. This is a huge win for both developers and users.
So let's move on to quality now. Since quality is near and dear to our hearts here at Google Play, we knew that giving you guys a significant and centralized device catalog would surely lead to improved quality. In particular, the catalog can empower you, the developer, to create a consistent and elevated user experience for Google Play users across a broad array of devices. The diversity of Android devices enables your games and apps to reach audiences that no other gaming platform can do. We know that this also, though, presents some unique challenges related to that diversity.
I think Big Fish said it best. We're able to be more proactive in our device support of new launches and more quickly able to respond to real-world problems.
The Big Fish team gave me this pointed feedback of how the device catalog is enabling them to react and solve device-specific issues in record time. It's given them more confidence in their early game rollout process, knowing that they can iterate quickly against device support as well. So for example, they have a game, Cooking Craze, that is currently in open beta right now. They decided to launch it with actually known performance issues because they knew that while it was out in the wild, they could also look for unforeseen issues. With launching earlier and that review feedback not counting towards their overall ratings that I spoke of earlier, they could pluck out those iffy devices and disable support for those devices in the meantime. That then allows them to iterate regarding device support more quickly. Then they were able to insulate their game from negative reviews, and that would, in turn, not affect the discovery algorithms on Google Play. So, this is a really amazing way for them to set themselves up for the best possible global launch right out of the gate. And we understand that you only get one chance at launch. While you guys are increasingly focused on creating gaming experience with lasting power beyond, we understand that that launch window is still really crucial. It's the foundation that sets your game up for success. Since the early days of the device catalog, we're excited to hear of other new ways that this service will positively impact your apps and games. As we roll out more broadly, please do share your stories with us. We'd love to understand how the device catalog is contributing to the success of your game and your business overall.
So it's great to see how Open Beta, where we opened the talk with, connects to the device catalog. Today we've showed you a bunch of new launches, new tools we're launching in the Play console. And we also showed you how developers use them to find success on Google Play. We showed you our new release flow, giving you more confidence and clarity as you make app updates. We showed you the new validation step, which makes sure you avoid making major mistakes before you release your app updates to users. We show you how we made stage rollout front and center, allowing you to see the number of targeted devices and set custom percentages. We show you how you can save your release as a draft and then come back later to launch it when you're ready. We also show you the new release dashboard, allowing you to keep track of your release performance in real time, making sure you react to issues as they show up. And then we've also mentioned that starting today, you can publish your Android Instant apps directly from the Play console.
We continue by talking about a new program where Google Play can take the burden of signing your app from you. We talked about the security benefits and about the size gains you can get with the app optimizations. Last but not least, we talked about the new device catalog. We show you the rich device spec, how we group devices, how you can efficiently search and filter the catalog, and how you can see the data about performance of your app on a resulting set. We also talked about the new rules, allowing you to filter your app on the store based on performance indicators. And here are some helpful links if you want to explore any of the things we talked about in more detail. We are sure you will like the new features, and they will help you release with more confidence, better understand the Android device space, and focus on doing what you guys do best: build amazing apps and games, and deliver great experiences to millions of Android users all around the world. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.